All right. Hi, everyone. It's just amazing that the room is still packed at this hour.
Yeah.
I have with me YB Syed Saddiq.
Hello, everyone.
Have a seat,
Pleasure to be
YB.
here.
All right. So, YB bro.
When
Now-
when I say call bro, it's not, you're not supposed to have the YB in front. Then it becomes,
Okay, but it's a bit awkward for government officials like me to be calling
Ayo.
a young berhormat a bro. But
last,
maybe
last I checked, MDEC is supposed to be the most chilled out
okay.
government agency. So
All right. Let's keep it casual,
Yeah.
right? I think it's great to have you here in front of these are great startups, tech ecosystems in Malaysia.
amazing.
We want to hear a bit more about your aspiration.
Yep.
But first of all, you yourself, right? Did have a Googling this morning. You were born 6 December 1992, so you
Yep.
are 27?
26 turning 27 this year.
26, 27,
Yep.
right? I've got a bunch of Twitter messages asking, are you still single? All right, not to be discussed here. So you're Minister of Youth and Sports,
Yep.
all right? Orang Johor.
Yes.
I'm Orang Johor as well. So any Johorians?
I think now, ni orang Johor tak nak mengaku ni sekarang. Where are you guys? There you go. There you go.
All right. Youngest minister in Asia, or is it the world?
No, it's okay. I have a colleague, Shazra Mazrui.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's the youngest, 23 years old in UAE,
Okay.
but not within a democracy.
Okay.
She's exceptional. NYU graduate, Oxford graduate, and at the age of 23 years old, leading the youth ministry in UAE.
Wow.
Yeah.
You met her.
Not yet, but have communicated.
All right. Okay. I don't want to lead to any speculation. All right. You turned down offers not once but 2 times from Oxford University to remain active in politics. When I was at your age,
Yeah.
I don't know. That was quite eons ago. Maybe lepaking and a bit of people who are in my age probably remember Babran and Boom Boom Room and all that, right? But tell me what drives and motivates you in such a young age. You are so involved in so many things, politics.
Yeah.
Just came back from Parliament.
To be honest, I never expected to join politics. I've always wanted to be an expert in public policy. That's why when I got the offer from Oxford, it was in a Masters in Public Policy. I've always liked doing research work. So my first job was with YB Nancy Shukri as a research officer, then in a think tank under the Johor State Government as a research officer as well. So I've always wanted to be in the background, but then formulating critical public policies. But one thing which my mum taught me, my mum is a teacher, a civil servant,
Mm-hmm.
now still teaching, not wanting to retire. She served, I think, for almost 40 years teaching in a daily school in Johor. One thing which she taught me is, di mana ada kemahuan, di situ ada jalan. When there's a will, there's a way. And when you identify your passion, you pursue it all the way. And whatever barriers are placed in front of you, instead of just, skirting it, just break it down and move forward. And for me, when it was about public policy, I noticed that there were problems in executing good public policies, usually it's in the implementation phase, that trusted me into politics. And then incidentally, one thing led to another. I knew that whatever I did, my heart must be in the right place. And that's why I skipped Oxford.
Mm-hmm.
Not at that point in time thinking that I'd contest in a general election,
Okay.
because at that point in time I was still far, far away. But honestly, there was a moment where my mum, especially my father, were
Alright.
threatened in many ways. Instead of asking me to leave, I don't like to back down from a fight. So when someone like my mum, who's my idol,
All right.
can be threatened, I think enough is enough.
Yeah.
So that trusted me into politics even further.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're speaking a lot about your mom. I actually have a photo of you and your mom. Can we have the photo up?
Photo of me and my mum. Oh my God, which photo is this? That's not my mum for sure.
There,
That's
this is the
definitely my
mom. So, she's your idol.
She is. I mean, the level of perseverance which he has. Because there are many times, my father used to be a construction worker in Singapore, and you know, especially in the 1990s, it's not the most stable of jobs, and there were many times when my father lost his job, therefore my mom was the main breadwinner in the family, and being a teacher in a family of 6, it's not the easiest of things, but she managed to persevere through. So, as I say, the saying, di mana ada kemahuan, di situ ada jalan, or when there's a will, there's a way. For her, for example, when she was the main breadwinner, and she knew that her teacher's salary was not enough, she started teaching tuition, but she doesn't have the capital to open up a tuition center or work or the network to work at an established tuition center. So she just carved out one segment of the house and made it a tuition room. And then she teaches, so for example, she goes to school, she wakes up 5 o'clock in the morning to help my dad, and then she goes to school at about 7 o'clock, comes back at about 2:30. She cooks for the family, insists to cook for the family, despite the fact we say at times it's unnecessary, we can handle ourselves. At 4 o'clock till 6, she starts teaching the first class, and then at 6, she ends, prepares food for the family, dinner, starts teaching again from 8 to 10. And she does that every day from Monday to Friday. On Saturday is worse, first tuition class at 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 8 to 10.
Wow.
And non-stop.
Wow.
But it's that level of perseverance which I learned a lot from her, and I'm always privileged to have her, and I think I have the best mom in the world.
Got it. Sort of ingrained in you right now, working hard.
Hopefully.
Speaking about working hard, what about this man?
Ayo. Okay,
yes.
That's a special man.
You know, you represent the millennials.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of millennials in my team as well.
Yeah.
They don't come to the office, and I know that startups here at 10. And I work in a government organizations, and they come to the office at 10. All right? I know they're going to kill me after this. But how do you adjust your working culture, working ethics with this our beloved Prime Minister?
It was never easy. I mean, I truly started working for him full time. I think about 1.5 years before general elections.
Okay.
And at that time, it was as his research officer. And it truly changed my working habit. As you said, being young, while we may work until late at night, we often want to wake up late and only enter office at about 10 to 11.
Yep.
But with him, it's the opposite. Like, he will enter never later than 8:30 in the morning, like sharp all the time, earlier always. And then he'll never leave later than 5:30. And almost every single night, he'll have multiple different events.
All right.
And being young, following him then, I thought I was the old one. Like, how can this guy get so much energy? And at times, it's frustrating because then it puts greater burden on someone as young as me. I can't complain. I can't complain that I don't go on holidays because that guy doesn't go on holidays. He gets sick when he goes on holidays because that means he loses a sense of purpose. So no, it's true. I'm not joking. The last time I knew he got a fever was when he was on a holiday. But when he has a sense of purpose, when he works non-stop till late night, then suddenly he gets so energetic. But one thing about Chun, which I learned a lot about, is that no matter how difficult the decision can be, as long as you can foresee 5, 10, 15 years ahead and base that decision based on the future, and on top of that, despite the fact that the decision might not be the most popular at that time, you make it. You stand firm with that decision, and when the outcomes are realized, that's when the benefits are truly felt.
Great.
So, I mean, besides the good working habits, I think beyond that, I think to find a visionary like Chun is quite difficult, and I'm privileged to be a part of the generation which benefited from a lot of the policies which he made, and I'm very sure that the trademark of his success, if he's able to come up with a lot more young leaders in multiple different sectors to ensure that Malaysia becomes a moderate, progressive, future-looking country, which I believe that's the very reason why he established MSc, and from there onward leading to MDEC, and I'm very sure that despite being 93, he always cares a lot about young issues, despite the fact that he still struggles to use his iPhone. So yeah.
Have you ever get scolded by him?
Many times. Different reasons. Usually, once I remember, again, because I came late to work, and mind you, late is 6 minutes late.
Wow. Listen, guys.
No, I'm not joking. Like, because at that point in time when I was taking, so with him, when you work with him, I knew from the start, I promised myself I'll never be late. But that was one of the rare moments. I wasn't joking when I told him that the LRT broke down. It really did.
All right.
Right? Because like, it really broke down. I was heading to MCOP Mall. So the LRT broke down, so I was delayed. But I already planned in advance, I'll come 15 to 20 minutes early. So even though it broke down, I'll still have time.
Yeah.
But then it took a little bit of time. Then I had to come down to take Grab to get to the office. So when I got to MCOP Mall, the office is next to Yayasan Selangor. I rushed out, got up. So I was 6 minutes late. So I looked at his office and said, Tun is already in. I said, alamak, let's try. And just show now I'm calm. Like I was already somewhere in the office, but he didn't see me. Even though he already set the meeting then.
Pandai dia.
Kena lah, cuba kan. You know, being young, try find different ways. So when I came in, I said, oh Tun, I was at the site just now, yeah. So can we start the meeting? It's like, no, you were 6 minutes late. I'm like, aduh. So you can't run. Oh, sorry. I remember I came in, I said I was on the site just now, but sorry for being 5 minutes late. So I said 4 minutes late. He said no. He corrected me. You are 6 minutes late. So that makes it more painful, you know. Like you try first, you lie the first time. You say somewhere else. And then
double jeopardy.
Yeah, and then the second lie you make is like, Tun, sorry, 5 minutes late. Nope, you're 6 minutes late.
All right.
So yeah.
You know, let's God bless him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And let's hope that he brings Malaysia into greater success.
Yes.
Inshallah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think let's get to a bit more serious tone.
Sure.
Your portfolio is youth and
Yes.
sports. I think Malaysia has almost 50% of its populations that are below 40.
If you look at, it depends what you define as youth now. Since yesterday we just passed in Parliament that the definition of youth is 30, no longer 40.
There goes my chance.
No, it's actually very important just to share. A lot of people think that it's just a definitional change, but it brings a lot of huge policy impacts, and that's why the resistance was huge. That's why the debate yesterday lasted for one whole day, because all this while, the allocations of government have been focused, youth allocations, have been focused on those who are 35 years and above. But in reality, when you look at youth at risk, it's predominantly among those who are 15 to 25.
Got it. Yeah.
But allocations are being hoarded by one specific group,
Got it.
right? And at the same time, you talk about preparing youth for the future, but even for a young person to lead a youth association, not a political party, not a huge, well-known NGO, a youth association, majority are above 35. And you don't give a chance to a person who's below 30, while other countries are youthifying not just their associations, but political parties, corporate, the corporate side of things, but in Malaysia, we're still averse to that. So yeah, this is just to share. Sidetrack a little bit, but yeah, we definitely need to youthify Malaysia in many, many different ways.
All right. And that is why we have a 27-year-old minister.
Yeah, but I always tell Tun, that's why I feel very blessed to be here. But the yardstick of success should not be based on one single representation.
Got it.
I think then you fall into the trap of tokenism. The yardstick of success is when there will be a lineup of youth leaders in multiple different sectors. For example, if you look now, we have a policy of identifying and appointing a lot more young corporates on GLCs and in the future on even private companies. Obviously, we can't force, but we incentivize. Similarly, like what the previous government did, which was good, good policies, we must give good credit, in terms of increasing representation of women on corporate boards. Right? Previously, it was at 18%. Now we've already breached 30% for government companies, and for private sector, I think it's about mid-20s. So it's getting there. But for young people, it's abysmal. Right? We're just below, I think, Japan. Japan is obviously, okay, I don't want to talk bad about Tun's favorite country, but in terms of youth representation on corporate boards, quite bad. But in Malaysia, it's getting better and better. That's why you see a lot more young people being appointed on government-linked companies, on agencies, and they're not incompetent. These are people who are really smart and talented. For example, you look, I think what Tun did to me is not new, not just in politics. In the midst of the financial crisis, 1997, Asian financial crisis, the credit crunch, when a lot of GLCs needed saving and a lot of the old wigs left, Tun appointed a young line of corporate leaders to save these GLCs. And the head of Khazanah today, Sharil Reza, started his career as a big corporate, leading saving MRCB successfully out of the financial crisis and then being bumped up to EPF, like multiplying EPF's share, and now leading Khazanah, the biggest, corporate in Malaysia. Exactly. So I think there's a lot more which we can do and we should do, but in general, you want to have a line of young leaders in politics, corporates, NGOs, activists, and all the rest. So in the end, when people look at Malaysia, they know that our youth are well prepared for the future.
Exactly. There are a lot of young leaders in entrepreneurships in this hall as well. One question is with regards to entrepreneurship. Mostly the entrepreneurs in this hall are all the Mont Kiaras and Tamantun, right? The Subang Jaya. How do you reach, because it's part of your job, if it were to be 50% of Malaysia's populations are youth, how do you ensure that people living in Kelantan, Kelantan is a great country anyway, right? Or
great country,
Hey, sorry, great state, right?
Luckily you didn't say that about Johor, if not I'll get into trouble.
Oh, okay, I am crossing the wrong border right now. How do you reach, you need to ensure that they are inclusive as well, and digital plays a very important role.
Exactly. So I think there are two parts to it. One is to also acknowledge that connection is not just about bringing them, for example, to the hub of KL or to Klang Valley, that there are also a lot of innovators outside of KL. One of the persons I had the privilege of meeting up is a gaming developer, I think, who's also being helped by MDEC. Saudara Takif, right? If you remember, a very young guy who started coding through YouTube, and in his house, he doesn't have internet access, so he goes to the cyber cafe to learn. I went to cyber cafe back then to play Counter-Strike and Dota. He goes to cyber cafe to watch YouTube videos about coding. My God, how much generations have changed. But when he learned, and then he came out with his game, with his own game. While it's simple, but at that age, with that rigor, I think that's exceptional. And there are a lot more stories. Just now we just met a few others, the digital ninjas.
Yes.
And exceptional. 14 years old. One of them left MRSM. I can't imagine me doing that at 14. He started that software, completed it September when he was 13. And then 14 years old, already have 400 clients.
Yes.
Decided to leave MRSM. And mind you, I don't know how difficult it is to convince parents to leave MRSM.
Yes.
He left MRSM to study in a daily school in Shah Alam so that he can focus more on his work. You can think about that decision being made in 18, 19, 20. But at 14 years old...
It's getting younger and younger, right?
Exactly. And yet people keep on claiming that our young ones are dumb and... that truly frustrates me.
I beg to differ, actually, because you met some of them. There are about 45 of them, and I know that you guys have stood up earlier. Can you guys stand up again? All right? So I want you to see them that we're putting a lot of efforts in talent development. And I want to tell the startups here as well that these are your future workforce, actually. Talk to them. They got showcases over there as well. Some of these will probably be their next data scientists. Yeah?
Exactly. So, thank you. Not bad at all.
I didn't
I love the energy. I love the energy.
Okay, I think we need to wrap up. A couple of rapid fire questions to you. No right or wrong answer, yeah?
Sure.
Simple ones, actually. I've been told to
Simple ones. Whenever someone have to classify it simple, it's never simple.
Okay, I do not know whether the first one is going to be simple or not. Man U or Liverpool?
Oh, Man U, that's easy. Look at that. But this is not the best time for us to be proud of MDU. We stay low, and then slowly we'll climb back up.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
All right.
Look at the gear somewhere.
I'm not getting into this Chinese-US trade war. Amazon or Alibaba? Your preference, no right or wrong.
Difficult. Alibaba.
Okay. All right.
I have to balance the Asian side of things.
Okay. All right, bro, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
It's a great pleasure, and I think the hall enjoyed it as well. Can we give a round of applause to YB Syed Saddiq?
Thank you.
I really wish you guys, if I can just end, I really wish you guys all the best. You are truly the future of Malaysia. I really hope that you disrupt as much as possible, and in whatever way you can help the government to disrupt multiple different industries, please help to do so. One of my pet peeves is whenever I see Malaysia losing out to Singapore, and now even potentially to Indonesia and Vietnam. And it's not that I dislike those countries, but I always want Malaysia to be in front. And if, for example, when you look at Huawei and Verizon and all the other Western companies, when they move from 4G to 5G, being able to create $1 trillion worth of wealth in the States and 400,000 new high-quality jobs, you know that in the end, the future lies in the hands of startups and tech startups in particular. So I really hope that you will always be the frontliners in disrupting, in creating new industries and jobs for young Malaysians. And I'm very sure that as long as your heart is in it, with the right support structure, you'll get there. And then you can effectively say that you are not just the leader of Malaysia, but the leader of Asia. I pray for the best. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you, YB.
Thank you.
Thank you, YB. If you can just,
Thank you.
if you don't mind staying on stage, we want to give you a little token of appreciation for taking your time to come and speak with us.